gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We gonna let it burn, 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 burn. Gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We gonna let it burn, 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 burn. We don't wanna leave. No, we just wanna be right now, right now. And what we see is everybody's on the floor acting crazy, getting local till the lights out.
That was Burned by Ellie Goulding. Here we go, episode number 13 of Rookies Roundup is about to begin. It is currently 9:52 p.m. here in LA, West Coast, Best Coast. We got another great show for you guys tonight. We have Carl Mogline, he's back. So we have a Rookies Roundup veteran here on the show. Now, of course, we have to go through all the normal routine and stuff. So what I've been up to, I've been busy in the sports world. I got to go to the UCLA Bruin game last night. The football team is top 10, number 9 in the country, which is like a huge deal for UCLA fans. I never dreamed that this would ever happen in my lifetime, to be honest with you. We got to go to the Dodger game when Juan Uribe hit the 2-run home run in the 8th inning to beat the Braves. So that was cool, and I'm going to be there on Monday, and if our offense wakes up and we don't get swept, Wednesday, so that should be fun. Remember last week I gave you an update on my grandpa. He is still alive. He's trying to fight through, so again, our thoughts and prayers are with him. Yes, it's kind of a sad week in sports. Of course, the whole Adrian Peterson thing. Again, Carl is a big Vikings fan, so I'm going to hold off on that so he can talk about it. But we are not going to debate whether or not he should play. It is way too sensitive a topic. We would never do such a thing. We're just going to have our thoughts and prayers with him. Of course, Rookies Roundup is a member of National Sports on Spreaker.com. You can always check us out online on Facebook, National Sports Network, on Twitter, at all caps National Sports 1, and on Instagram, National_Sports. Rookies Roundup has a Facebook page, which most of you probably don't know, considering we only have 8 likes. I know you guys can do better than that. The show has a grand total of over 1,100 views at this point. I'm sure at least some of you can like it. And as a matter of fact, we're going to designate a period of time in about 60 seconds where we're going to take a commercial just so you can go on Facebook and like Rookies Roundup. If you want to call in, we've never had an outside guest call in, but that would actually be really cool. You know, we're a good show, and it'd be a cool experience to have. 310-922-9536. I did just post that in the little green box. If you got anything to say also, feel free to comment. I will answer anything I can answer on the show next week if for some reason I don't have time, but I can guarantee you I will make time if you do. So again, Facebook page, Rookies Roundup. It's pretty cool. You guys should like it. Tonight's lineup, we've got a good one for you guys. We've got a lot of talk about football. We haven't been giving baseball nearly enough love, so we're going to talk about MLB as well. And we're going to talk a little bit of college football to try and stay on track. Last week's episode, by the way, was absolutely hilarious. Me and Noah Taborda, Noah was on the show. It was our After Dark episode, and it was hilarious. It only got 78 views, which is fine because it was a very late show. But go back and listen to it. Yes, it was a long show. Just pick a random spot. The whole thing was so funny. We promise you, you will not regret it. And with that, we're going to take a commercial break. I am actually going to post the link to our Facebook page in the green box right now so you can like it. And tonight, once again, we will be doing the thing where we mark every segment we do with the time so you can fast forward to it. But here's the catch. If you want access to those times, you're going to have to like our Facebook page because that's where they will be posted. So, you know what? We had to make some good business tactics here. So we are going to do anything we possibly can. Here we go. I am pulling up the link. I'm going to put it in the green box, and we will take our first commercial break. Alright? So get your seatbelts on. It's going to be a great ride tonight on Sunday night, the 13th ever episode of Rookies Roundup. We're going to get the commercial queued up. You have 20 seconds, and those 20 seconds start now. I just posted the link in the lower green box. Go like it up.
Your presentation of national sports is brought to you by Spreaker.com. Broadcast and listen to news, radio, and music with one low monthly rate. Your show will be right back after this word from the local stations.
And we are back here in Los Angeles. We are just getting started tonight, and now we welcome in a Rookies Roundup veteran. It is my honor to welcome back to the show Oregon's finest, Carl Mogline. Carl, how are you doing?
I am doing, depending on what sports team it's about, good. Before I say anything, I have to have a shout out to my grandmother. My grandmother is a huge sports fan, big UCLA fan, so that helps with Jake liking her, and listens to all our shows. So I just want to shout out to her. But also, I have to do what I do at every show. Go follow me on Twitter at Carl_PM and listen to College Football on Air, 50 State Sports Update, and my personal favorite, my hockey show, In the Crease with Carl Moglen. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say to do that, and let's get to NFL then.
Yeah, you know, I've been considering for a while talking about hockey on this show. I'm still trying to get into it, though. I'm not nearly enough of an expert yet. This is Carl's thing. I'm not going to take it from him because some of you probably know more about hockey than I do. So Check out In the Crease with Carl Mogline. It's pretty cool.
You can like that on Facebook, too.
Yeah, like it on Facebook. We're going Facebook like crazy. And speaking of crazy, let's talk about Greg Schiano. Yes, seamless segue number one of the show. If there's anything we do well on Rookies Roundup, it's our seamless segues. So let's get right into it. I made my feelings very clear when it comes to Buccaneers head coach Greg Schiano. I found out actually this was not very good even in college. At Rutgers, his record was a lowly 68-67. So now we've had some new information come out. And I tried to tell you guys he is definitely sabotaging the Buccaneers. And if you didn't believe me, you will now. So Josh Freeman was cited for possible drug charges. Somebody gave the NFL a tip that he might be doing drugs. He might need to be suspended. This is bad. Turns out the drugs he was taking were just Adderall, and it was legally prescribed by his doctor because he does actually have ADHD, so it's completely legal. Guess who the NFLPA just found out last night leaked that information? None other than Greg Schiano. Carl, what's your thoughts about Greg Schiano here? Because, I mean, there is a case for doing it. Do you think Greg Schiano told the NFL this because they thought that he might be cheating, because he thought that he was concerned for Freeman, or because he didn't like Freeman?
See, I really wish I could say other, and I hate talking bad about people, especially a coach. I liked what he did at Rutgers and Greg Schiano, but the way he has handled the situation, the whole Josh Freeman situation, I have to say that I believe this is just another example of Greg Schiano's blind hatred of Josh Freeman. He's continually shown unfair treatment of the player, and now it looks like the Vikings may just have gotten a better deal out of this because of Greg Schiano. Because Greg Schiano cannot handle Josh Freeman for whatever reason. I do not know the full situation, but this is just another example of why Greg Schiano does not deserve to be a head coach in the NFL when he has, these vendettas against players.
Yeah, here's the deal. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were a ship. They were one of the finest ships in the ocean. And Raheem Morris was the captain of this ship. And suddenly Raheem Morris was thrown off this ship because they thought they weren't getting to their destination fast enough. And then that ship turned into the Titanic. it started sinking. And then disease started spreading, only instead of yellow fever, it was staph infections. So now you're stuck with Greg Schiano, who clearly does not know how to steer a boat. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. They are lost. They need... I don't know what they need. I've made the divine intervention joke before. They need to move to Los Angeles. We'll be nicer there. And we will handle the Greg Schiano situation for them. Handle, air quotes. Just kidding, Greg Schiano. I'm sure you're a nice guy, maybe. But just, please, give your job back to the Buccaneers, and we will really appreciate you. Now, staying on the subject of NFL, and you mentioned the Vikings, you are a big Vikings fan. Again, Adrian Peterson's 2-year-old son was beaten to death by his ex-wife's boyfriend. This is not the Adrian Peterson Jr. This is a different child that most people did not know even existed. It's just really sad. I mean, yeah, it's cool that he played, but forget whether or not he should have played. No father should have to bury his own son, football star or not. It's just a horrible thing, and I know you want to say something about that.
Yeah, here's what I have to say about that, Jake. First of all, sadly enough, correct you on that. It was not his ex-wife. It was just a former girlfriend he had, and it was the boyfriend of her with this child who has, out of the request of the family, will remain nameless. This was a sad case of a child left with somebody who they thought they could trust, and they really couldn't. And I just have to talk about the life that Adrian Peterson's had. And I must say, he's a great football player, but the life he's had to live is a life that no man should ever have to live. No person should ever have to go through the amount of tragedy he's been through. He saw his older brother and best friend die from a drunk driver hitting him when he was just 7 years old.
You watched him die before his own eyes, correct?
Yes, he did. It was in front of him. I believe he was 13 when his dad was arrested, I believe on drug charges, and he was thrown in prison. His dad didn't get to see him play at Oklahoma until his junior year. In that game, he broke his collarbone. Of course, 2 years ago, he tore up the ligaments in his knee, and every time we see him go out with these injuries, he seems to come back harder. It just shows the perseverance of this soul, a soul that has had too many marks against it, that has been raped up too many times. This is just another sad mark on Adrian Peterson, and the way he's come back from these has always been stronger. And he may have had an off day today, but I promise you, the rest of this season will be for his son. The rest of this season will be dedicated to his son, because he is having to deal with a trauma that no person should ever have to deal with. The death of a child, especially one who was 2. It's just unbearable. And if I know Adrian Peterson, he will come back and fight harder than before, and he will come back and be better than before.
Yeah, you really you can't help but root for him. You just gotta feel so bad for the guy. Tough life, but literally and figuratively, he's gonna keep on running. And so yeah, we just really did have to talk about that, but let's move on to maybe a more interesting note in the NFL, or at least a less depressing one. Now, Tony Romo gets a lot of flack from the mainstream media for not being clutch. And then I stumbled across this that made me wonder, are we a little too hard on Tony Romo? So a lot of people bag on him for his poor fourth quarter performance. And this was the case last week when they played against Denver. But there was this interesting infographic I came across. A lot of people say go far to say that he's even the worst fourth quarter quarterback of all time. Well, here you go. Since 2008, in terms of fourth quarter interceptions, when tied or trailing by up to 7, ordered by most interceptions to lead. Top quarterback in terms of that since 2008? Take a guess.
The one with the most interceptions?
Yeah.
Let's go with... I want to go with Eli Manning.
Phillip Rivers has 16 picks when tied or trailing by up to 7
makes
since
sense.
2008.
The Chargers are the worst team at closing.
Yep, he has. He throws a pick about every 18 attempts. Then you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jay Cutler, Mark Sanchez, Matt Ryan, Chad Henne, Matt Castle. Those are all guys that you have to come across before you hit Tony Romo. And there are
because we all know the superstardom of Chad Henne.
And Tony Romo, by the way, has 9 interceptions. An interception every 37 attempts. And even guys who have thrown less interceptions than him still have a lower ratio than he does. That includes Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Drew Brees, Josh Freeman, David Gerard, Brett Favre, Kyle Orton, Carson Palmer, and Matt Schaub. So my question to you is, Carl, are we too hard on Tony Romo?
See, this is a very hard question for me, because it's a question I have personally struggled with for a very long time. The issue with Tony Romo is, yes, he has these things, but then I honestly don't mind him in the fourth quarter, because he has shown over the last couple of years when they make the playoffs, he's doing well in the fourth. My biggest issue is he's not a great quarterback in general. Just look at today, only threw for 170 yards today, and was on 18 and 30. I mean, he was throwing for less than 10 yards per completion. That's a pretty low rate for a quarterback. So my issue, I don't mind him in the fourth quarter. I think we're being too hard on the fourth quarter, but I think the level of criticism he gets for normal quarterbacking is right on the mark, because he's not a great normal quarterback. Just in a regular play. I think he's still mediocre in fourth quarter, but he's not worse than he is at other times.
Here's the thing. I think that Tony Romo deserves more respect than we give him. He plays through so many injuries. He's a very tough guy. He wants to win, and I really commend him for that. So I'm going to say that yes, we are too harsh on him. However, that does not mean all of a sudden that he is clutch. He is still not clutch. He has still failed to make big plays. It's a reason that this team hasn't been in the playoffs or won a playoff game in quite some time. So, I think
no, because they haven't won a playoff game in, what would it be? Now I believe it's no, because they only haven't won a playoff game in 3 years. Because it was 2010 when they last won a playoff game. I know that because they won their first round game against the Eagles, I believe, and then they lost to the Vikings.
Nah, feels like a long time though, and
yeah,
so I was.
Brett Favre was quarterbacking a team. Yeah,
there you go.
Just back when Brett Favre could actually, do well until he throws to a wide open Saints defense as they are trying to hurt them, as they are trying to hurt him for money. That's what happened.
Yeah, I just have to look at this team. I have to look at Tony Romo. I mean. So I think we are too hard on Romo, and he deserves better, but that's not saying much, considering how hard we are on him. He still deserves some flack. Everybody seems to have a big opinion on Tony Romo. What do you guys think? Tell us. 310-922-9536 or the comment box. I am pushing hard. Someone's going to call. Someone will call. What?
You want to know how to get people to call? Tell the numbers slower.
No, I know, but I put it in the box. Fine. 3, 1, 0, 9, 2, 2, 9, 5, 3, 6. Good enough, Carl?
Great enough. Also, I should note, if you could probably text him a question during the middle of the week and say it's for Rookies Roundup, and he would probably answer it.
I would do so.
Or like arrange a call or something like that. I mean, seriously.
But you know who hasn't been answering a call? This call is from the Houston Texans fans. And Matt Schaub is apparently On vibrate? I don't know. But he is struggling. Matt Schaub today, his team lost to the Rams at home. I was shocked by this, to be quite honest. What's your takeaway from
You
this?
forgot to mention the fact that they lost by 25 points, 38-13. That was a late touchdown too to make it with the 7. And Sam Bradford wasn't even that great. He threw for 117 yards.
And 3 touchdowns, though, and no picks.
No, I'm saying he threw for the 3 touchdowns, but again, he wasn't throwing all over the place. Their top rusher only rushed for 79. This was not a case of them overpowering them on offense. This was a case of I can't even explain what this is a case of. This is one of those games that makes me wonder how the NFL creates this voodoo. Because the way this game was played is ridiculous. Just ridiculous how bad this game was for certain players. But what I want to bring up, what I really, really want to bring up is a thing you brought up multiple times, Jake. Even though Houston had 420 yards to only 216 by St. Louis, St. Louis put up 38 points on 216 yards. Just throwing that out there. But why Houston lost this game? 4 turnovers. That's why I'm going to tell you. 0 turnovers for St. Louis, 4 turnovers on the other team, and you just cannot allow that to happen. I mean, okay, look at just as a microcosm of that. The last 2 touchdowns scored by the Rams, a fumble return, and a 98-yard interception return. This shows that turnovers are such a key piece of this game. Because an offense should not be able to put up 38 points with 216 yards, or only have, with 420 yards, they should have more than 13 points.
I do want to point this out. It seems like at the end of this day, Matt Schaub is going to get blamed by the Houston Texans fans, and that's not fair. He had a decent game when he got injured and he returned, but at the time he was injured, he was 12 of 17, 186 yards. No touchdowns, but no picks. He was not responsible for any of those turnovers. And then the Houston Texans fans. I'm already in hot water with the Houston Texans fans for burning their own jerseys. Don't burn your own clothing to prove a point. It's stupid. But 2, they cheered when Schaub went down injured. At some point you cross the line. Let's not even talk about whether or not Schaub is at fault. Because first of all, he's not. But second, that's completely classless. When you cheer, when your own quarterback goes down with an injury, when anyone goes down with an injury, but especially someone on your team, and especially your own quarterback. Because you know what happens? When Schaub comes back, all of a sudden the Texans fans are going to like him. And it's just another reason that I'm so upset that LA doesn't have a football team, because we would never do this. Are we harsh fans? Yes, but we don't cheer when somebody gets injured. It's not right. So Houston,
unless you know you're a UCLA fan and it's a USC player. Cough, cough. It could happen.
No, it's not like we were pumped that Barkley was hurt. It was just we were pumped because Anthony Barr hit him so hard. But
yeah, just
it's a different.
Keep it classy, Jake. Keep it classy.
So Houston, keep it classy. This is, in my opinion, absolutely not Schaub's fault. Everyone's being way too hard on Matt Schaub, and I think this is really a defensive issue, especially in the secondary. Carl, what do you think?
Actually, I want to bring up one more
Is Schaub to blame? Is Schaub to blame here?
No, he had a fine game. When he went out, he had already thrown for 186 yards. He had a QBR of 63.5 at the time he went out. Also, I want to bring up one more stat. Another stat that you love to bring up on the reason why things happen. Quarterback pressure. The Rams had 5 sacks.
There you go.
And guess what? The Texans had 0. The Rams were led by Michael Brockers, the big defensive tackle, coming in for 2 sacks today. I just gotta say, this is why they won.
Yeah.
Also, props to Greg Zuerlein, the kicker. He had a tackle today.
Nice. By the way,
Yeah.
just a bit of exclusive trivia from Rookies Roundup. Not many people know, but we do know somebody. I think it's an aunt of a player. It will all connect. This is actually really cool. So you'll notice if you look at the box score of the Rams-Texans game today that the first touchdown scored of the game was a 2-yard touchdown pass to Corey Harkey. Now, Corey Harkey was a guy who played in UCLA. Not the greatest player, but, I mean, you know what? He's playing on Sundays. Now, Corey Harkey has an aunt, and that aunt's father is the bullpen coach for the New York Yankees. So, just a cool little piece of trivia there. It's just cool to see these weird connections in sports. But getting back on track. Now, here's an interesting debate we could have. There are 2 undefeated teams remaining. The Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Carl Mogline, who is losing first and to who?
I'm going to answer this question in the best way I know how. And you want to know what the best way I know how is?
What is the best way you know how?
The best way I know how is to just look at the rest of their schedule. The rest of their schedule until the date November 17th. November 17th, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to Denver. And this is when I don't think Denver is going to lose up to this, unless they lose to Indy, but I don't think they're losing to Indy. This is where Casey could falter before this. So I'm saying Casey's going to lose first. But if they don't, when they go to Mile High on November 17th, they're losing.
I'm going to say that Kansas City is not going to lose first. Denver's going to lose first. I'm calling it right here, right now. Next week, Sunday Night Football, the return of Peyton Manning to Lucas Oil and Indianapolis, the house that he essentially built, Andrew Luck will come through. Because if that team can beat the Seahawks at home, they can certainly beat the Broncos. Denver has been underwhelming, I'm sorry. They only won 35-19 to the Jaguars. They had a close call against Dallas. If their defense doesn't step up, the Colts are winning this game. And you know what? I don't think their defense is going to step up. I think the Magic will return for a short period of time to Indianapolis, and I think the Colts are going to get a little bit of hubris going on, and I think the Texans can win the AFC South. Okay, so you know what? I think we just thought of a good topic, because the face Carl is making to me right now over Skype is something else. Who do you guys think is going to win in the AFC South? Again, feel free to comment. I know I just made a bold prediction. Carl, you seem to disagree with that.
I feel like I more than disagree with this. Like, I have a super disagreement with this. The Denver Broncos will not be losing to Indianapolis. And just hear me out on this. There's a few reasons I think that Denver will not be winning at Indianapolis. Reason number 1. You have to look at what Indianapolis has done in a couple games. First, they played an Oakland team only to 21-17. That worries me. Andrew Luck is not always this clutch guy. He was versus Seattle, but I don't know if that really shows up against Denver. Because it's an on and off thing. Andrew Luck worries me because he's not great every single week. And that's something that Peyton Manning is. Peyton Manning, no matter the week, is always outstanding. No matter what. And that is the first reason, I think, that they will win this game. Moving on to the second reason I have them winning this game. We have to look at some basic team statistics. You know, because it is a team sport. And if we stay off that, then we're just completely killing the point.
Fair.
Of Yeah, you agree. It doesn't make sense to do that.
So what are these
All
two
right.
statistics?
We're going to move to a category. A very interesting category, I may add.
And what is this category, Carl?
The category I am using.
Okay, if you're pulling it up, that's fine.
Alright, now I know I'm annoying you. Alright, the category of this thing is the wondrous category.
Okay, listen. As you pull it up, I just have some news that I have to give you because I just saw this. So we'll let Carl pull that category up. We interrupt this to give you breaking noise. Breaking noise.
Breaking noise, here we go.
Breaking noise. Breaking
Can I go
news.
now because you messed up? Great.
Fine, go.
The Denver Broncos are averaging 46 points per game. That is 15.6 points higher than the next highest.
I am aware.
Dallas.
I am aware of this stat, Carl Mogline, but I just have one thing to tell you. It's called magic. We have seen Indianapolis prove us.
Right, but we already talked about how Magic Johnson's a terrible owner.
No, we haven't. And he is not a terrible owner. What are you talking about?
Nah, that was not with you. There was another person.
Well,
I've heard people talk about it.
He is not a terrible owner. He is whatever. We'll streamlined approach.
Baseball's later.
Okay,
What is your point?
My point is this: when the Colts are playing at home, there is magic, and if the Denver Broncos
Especially when they're
defense
playing the Dolphins.
plays the way that was one thing, and you know what? That game against the Dolphins is the reason I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Wait, so the Colts are going to beat Denver, but not make the playoffs?
Correct.
Wow.
It's a classic case of hubristic society. Haven't you ever studied the Greek? Yeah, that's right. I went Greek age here, guys. My evidence can be cited 3,000 years back as correct proof for this. 2,500, but you know what I mean. Just trust me on this one. I'm worried about the Colts because you're right. I don't think they're consistent enough. Now, the breaking noise that I have to give you. Breaking news. Into the relationship life of a golfer not named Tiger Woods. Apparently, so Rory McIlroy has had this bumpy relationship with his girlfriend Caroline Wozniacki, and it's over in one of the weirdest ways possible. So it turned out Wozniacki tweeted a picture of McIlroy without a shirt, glasses on, basically sleeping, and in the middle of yawning. Like, really tired. And she wrote, jet lag at McIlroy Roy, LOL. They're through. Apparently, Rory McIlroy and tennis star Caroline Wozniacki has split up after she tweeted what Bleacher Report calls a, quote, somewhat unflattering photo of him sleeping with his mouth open. This is from Niamh Horan of the Irish Independent, and that the tweet pushed McIlroy over the edge and led to an absolutely devastated Wozniacki over the breakup. So yes, now we move on past golfers' relationship lives, because apparently those just don't end well. We were going to do...
Streamline.
Yes. We were going to do an NFL recap, but it is getting late, and I've already recapped some of the games on a different show. Blake and Noah, LA to Chicago. Check that show out. It's pretty cool. We definitely have our opinions on it. I did say to Carl that we would recap some games. So, Carl, I'm going to let you pick 3 games, and then we are going to go to commercial.
Alright, the 3 games that I will pick are, first, I would like to talk about Denver-Jacksonville because of some point spread stuff. Second, New England, New Orleans, and finish out with the Thursday night game of Chicago and New York. Starting with the Denver-Jacksonville game. The Denver-Jacksonville game had a 27-point spread on it.
27.5.
Excuse me, 27.5 was the point spread. Excuse me, Jay. I am just saying, this is to all you people who actually thought they would win a game by 27. Whenever anybody has a point spread of this big, especially in the NFL, college spreads are different. In the NFL, you do not pick it because it doesn't work that way. No matter what you think. It will not work that way. All right.
I mean,
That's all I have to say on that game.
That defense was just not good enough. I was smart and picked the Jaguars in the spread. By the way, I had a good week in picks. I forgot to tell you guys. Yeah, 9 out of 14. Not too bad. And spread, I'm finally going to have an above-average week. So that's really exciting. Spread's been a very rocky year for me this year. But yes, Carl, continue.
All right. Moving on to my second game of the time I get that Jay can interrupt me. All right. The next game we're going to talk about is the New England Patriots playing the Saints. The Patriots won 30-27 to make both these teams 5-1. Tom Brady only threw for 269 yards and was kind of underwhelming throwing a touchdown and an interception. That is compared to only 236 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception for Drew Brees. So both quarterbacks were underwhelming. But the point I want to make is a point because I know that Jake was going to pick the Saints and probably did pick the Saints in this game. Jake,
I did pick the Saints in this game. And
I want to go back.
And
this
wait.
is the Patriots team I believe in. And I want to go back to, I believe it was episode 7 or 5 or something, when Jake and Noah both said I was ridiculous for picking the Patriots over a Falcons team. A Falcons team that is flailing right now. The Patriots are for real, people. Stop trying to say they are not. Until they have another injury, the Patriots are looking fantastic. All right, moving on to my final game.
Wait, may I? No. I have to respond to this.
No, you may not. I get my final game first.
Did I just have to make
it's my time. All right, final game I want to talk about. The New York Giants and the Chicago Bears. The Bears won 27-21. Almost a close game, but really not. Brandon Jacobs scored with only 6 seconds to remaining to make it look close, even though it wasn't. And that's what happened. Here's what I want to say to this game. New York Giants. Next week you are playing a team that is one of the worst teams in the NFL, in the Minnesota Vikings. So I challenge you this week to actually beat the Vikings, because this may be your only chance in a long time to beat a team. That is all I have to say, Jake. Please go.
All right. I already made my remarks about the Broncos-Jaguars game. About the Patriots-Saints, I just want to make the big point I made earlier on Blake and Noah's show. It's that the Saints fought really hard, but they gave Tom Brady the ball 3 different possessions in the final 3 minutes. Never give Tom Brady an opportunity to beat you, especially if you're going to do it 3 times, because otherwise you will regret it. And Tom Brady certainly made that team regret it, and that's why they won. And by the way, I did not give up on the Saints. Third, you would know that I picked the New Orleans Saints if you liked Rookies Roundup Facebook page, which, by the way, got a grand total of 0 extra likes over our first commercial break. So we're going to have a second commercial break for people to like it. I'm just kidding, though. It'll be good to have a commercial break for reasons that will be clear later on. But third, between the Giants and the Bears, I have to... First, the Bears are looking scary, not because of Jay Cutler, not because of their offense, but because they're statistically one of the top teams in the league at forcing turnovers. And 2, I am not ready to give up on the New York Giants. No way. Because of A, the division they're in, and B, because they've proven everyone wrong before. So, you know what? Hang in there, Alicia. You can do it. At least you're not Cooper Manning. It could always be worse. Even if you are, I was like, yeah, Cooper Manning. You know about him? Eli and Peyton's other brother?
Yes, I am familiar with Kim.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm not giving up on them, especially not in that division. And I think they will win next week. And don't you dare fire Tom Coughlin. That guy is on the hot seat way too often. Don't even think about firing him. Because you know what the Buccaneers did when they fired a pretty good coach? The Titanic. And on that note, we will go into our final NFL subject. It'll be a very brief one. Oh, and the episode you were talking about, by the way, was episode 11.
Really? It was only 2 episodes ago?
It was really, yeah. Because
We've had issues with postponing, haven't we?
We just do weekly episodes, you know.
Yeah, we used to be doing 2 a week.
Well, now I have school. But we'll be able to do more this week, for a reason I'll get to later. So, who was the most disappointing team in the NFL so far?
the most disappointing team in the National Football League.
Yes.
See, this is the hard one because there are a couple teams.
This is very easy for
next
me.
night, Monday Night Football is the disappointing bowl in the Vikings playing the New York Giants. Then you also have the Washington Redskins coming off a good season last year, but now being terrible. You also have the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But then you go to the AFC, and there's more teams that are doing
yes,
bad.
Carl, who is most disappointing? Because we do have to keep the show
The
moving.
most disappointing team, just because I know you're going to pick them, I'm not going to pick Atlanta. I am going to go with, I feel like such a homer, but the Minnesota Vikings are terrible right now.
Oh, like they had such high expectations. Just stop.
Hey,
Christian Ponder was supposed to be their starting quarterback this year. No one expected much of them. Don't even
Did you
try.
expect 1-4? Did you expect losing to the Cleveland Browns?
No one expected losing to the Cleveland Browns, but no one expected Brian Hoyer to have some sort of talent in his blood.
Yeah, all right.
By far.
Can we give a applause to Cleveland at being 3-3? Like, just good job to Cleveland.
I believe we called them West Cincinnati.
No.
Whatever. But here, let me tell you something. Besides the Giants, because that's the obvious pick, and they're 0-6 they normally get, I would say that by far the most disappointing team would be the Atlanta Falcons. For sure. There is no reason this team should be. Are they 1-4? They're 1-4, correct?
That is true.
They lost back-to-back home games against the Patriots. Fine. Understandable. And the New York Jets.
That's less understandable.
The fact that they are losing games at home, that's their bread and butter. That's like if DreamWorks didn't put the man on the moon before all their movies. Something doesn't feel right. Something's missing. I am...
Like Pixar didn't have the lamp.
Oh, right? Thank you. If Pixar didn't have the lamp. We don't have any rights to Pixar or DreamWorks in case anyone plans on suing us. So, yeah. Those are both corporations within the Walt Disney Company, I believe.
But don't worry, we also don't make any profits off this, so we're not making any profits off your name.
It's true, and we just do this for fun. And for fun, we're going to take a quick commercial break. So why don't you think about this while you're going onto Facebook and liking Facebook, our Rookies Roundup page on Facebook, which I need at least one of you to do. We're going to take a commercial break, and you're going to comment on the page, when you like it, who the most disappointing team in the NFL is thus far. Is it the Giants? Is it the Falcons? Is it the Vikings? Hint, it's not the Vikings. Or is it somebody else? We will be right back with our second commercial of the night. We keep on going. We will head to the baseball diamond. It's time for baseball to get some love. Boston Red Sox sure did tonight. That and more when we come back.
You can contact National Sports in a number of ways through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter with the label National Sports. We love to have you guys a part of our show and can easily join us also through text or call. You're listening to the National Sports radio station on Spreaker.com. America's pastime changing as we know.
We're back. Hope you enjoyed that commercial break. Pretty fun. I had to go and get some water, and it worked out well because we were about to move to baseball.
Shout out to all 2 of our viewers right now.
All 2.
And
You know what?
like,
Listen.
It's 10:36. If you're watching.
I'm just some kid talking about sports. It's 10:36 tonight, and there's 2 people listening. So shout out to both of you. So how about this? We have a head-to-head contest between the 2 people that are listening right now. Whichever one of you likes Facebook first wins. I'm actually going to be monitoring the page right now. You can give yourself a pat on the back if you are the first to like it. I will announce it as soon as I see that like tally go to the number 9.
Jake, I really wish I hadn't liked it before, because then I could have done it.
Don't.
I should note, I do like Rookies Roundup on Facebook.
He
He also posts more than just about shows. He posts random sports thoughts.
He
posts his picks for the week. It's not just about the life of Rookies Roundup.
It's true, I'm taking this Facebook page very seriously. I also take the MLB playoffs very seriously, contrary to the small amount of coverage we have given them. So, let's talk about it, because Dodger fever has absolutely hit Los Angeles. There's no way around it. I was a real Dodger fan from the start, if it makes you feel better. Because there are a lot of people hopping onto the bandwagon right now. I have no problem admitting that. Let's start with the Sox and Tigers, though.
The one tonight or the one yesterday?
Both.
Well,
so
it's a tale of two. Really, actually, no. It's a tale of, I'll make this clear for you. This is a tale of, I don't know, what would it be, 15 innings and 3 innings. Alright, let's just say the Boston Red Sox they hadn't scored in the ALCS until the 6th inning tonight. They had already gone 15 innings scoreless into this point.
But may I? Because I do have I do have a specific topic for this, though.
All right, let me finish.
Sure.
Holy David Ortiz grand slam! He is so clutch! Wow! 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 Go.
We were going to talk about who's more clutch later on, because I have somebody that I think is more clutch than David Ortiz in postseason.
Better not be Carlos Beltran.
Oh, this should be fun then.
Let's go, buddy. Later.
Okay, we will. So first, here's my question for you. Last night, Anibal Sanchez was in the middle of throwing a no-hitter through 6 innings. He had 12 strikeouts in just 6 innings. He was pulled. His pitch count was at 116. He could have thrown a no-hitter in the postseason, and they pulled him. Carl, good decision or bad decision?
Good decision. It's 112 pitches. At that point, you need him in the next couple of days. On a postseason, you have a shorter pitching rotation, less reps. Don't blow out his arm in the postseason. Good decision.
I agree. I'd rather win the series than get a no-hitter. And I'm sure Sanchez understands. Plus, he was at 116 pitches. So now we do have to talk about who's more clutch. I think it's Carlos Beltran. You think it's David Ortiz.
Can I have my first piece of evidence, please?
Absolutely.
Judge Jake. That's a new show, by the way.
No, it's not.
All right, we already decided we're not having a political show. Never mind. Moving on. All right. My piece of business I need to talk about with David Ortiz. Evidence number 1. The 2004 ALCS. Was it 04?
I believe it was. I think it was.
It was 04. Can you believe it was 9 years ago?
Right? It feels just like yesterday. But yes, what about David Ortiz?
Just look at that series. Anytime you needed clutch performing, he came through. That key Game 4 walk-off home. The way he played in the 9th inning to get them to extras. Later in the series, hitting home run after home run in clutch situations. David Ortiz was outstanding in that series. Multiple games hitting a walk-off hit. And throughout his career, he's proven it again. Now, Jake, you go so I can go look up stats.
Sure. Alright. Let's talk about Carlos Beltran. He has found ways to win with Houston, the Mets, and the Cardinals. So he's played at 9 playoff series, 1 National League Wildcard series game, 4 NLDSs, 4 NLCSs, but never World Series. Actually, he was not with Houston when they made the World Series, according to this. So, wait, that doesn't seem right? Wasn't he with Houston when they made the World Series?
I don't know.
Whatever. I guess he wasn't. Oh no, that was Lance Berkman. Whatever. So, here are your stats though. In those 9 series, his batting average is 340 in the playoffs. 340. He has drawn 29 walks. By the way, these are over 41 games. 41 postseason games. Okay? He is 51 for 150. He has scored 42 runs. He has 12 doubles, 16 home runs, 34 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, 29 walks, an on-base percentage of .448. Nearly half the time this guy steps to the plate at any time in the postseason, he gets on base. This is incredible. I don't know how you take him, how you don't take him, and you do take David Ortiz here. It's just, he is El Señor Octubre, as they would say in Latin America.
All right, moving to, let's just start. Again, the ALCS, I would like to say. He had 11 RBIs in that series when they came back from 0-3. In other times, he has hit an outstanding 14 home runs in 71 postseason games. That means he's on track for right around just under 40 homers if it was a season or something. Again, outstanding in the way he is played. You were saying the walks, I believe, correct?
Yes.
It's very similar to 46 walks on him. He's 46 in 71 games. How many games Beltran again?
Beltran 41.
41 games. Again, this is 30 more games that David Ortiz has played. David Ortiz has played
71 postseason. Okay, listen, he's on
David
the Red
Ortiz has
Sox.
played in 71 postseason
That's
games.
about his team. That's not about him, though. Carlos Beltran made it to the playoffs with the Astros and the Mets.
Yes,
so he should already win.
Let's also go. He has 7 intentional walks in the postseason.
I don't care.
That proves that teams are scared of his clutchness.
No. You know what? That's it. The numbers never lie. I don't even know if this is going to work out in my favor. I have now both postseason stats at the palm of my hand. I'm going to look at both of these and see how this turns out. All right. 71 postseason games compared to 41 for Beltran. Now, Beltran is 51 for 150. He is 74 for 311. That is a batting average of 284.
But that's a different. This is not clutch. This is
No,
clutch.
and
This is not
Beltran
how good they
is
are in the postseason.
340. No, clutchness is being able to perform when it matters, and it is all clutch in the postseason. Don't tell me that getting a home run in the second inning of a postseason game is not clutch.
I will, because that's not what clutch hitting is about. Clutch hitting is about the bottom of the ninth. Clutch hitting is about the top of the 12th. Clutch hitting is about the walk-off homer. It's about the game-saving play.
Normally I agree with you, but in the playoffs, every at-bat matters. When you can get on base,
say that when you player's clutch. Talking about top postseason before.
When you can get on base nearly half of the time in the postseason, that's incredible. You can't argue with that. There's no way to argue with that. Listen, I want to hear what you guys think, actually. So, again, on our page or comment, somebody go. Beltran or Ortiz. Who is your pick? Apparently, neither of our reviewers liked it yet, but that's okay. Because you know what? We get a lot more viewers not live. And plus, the people that are listening are really cool. So, you know what? It would be cool if you liked it on Facebook. On facebook.com/rookiesroundup. But if you didn't, that's okay too. It's just cool enough that you're listening. It's cool to anyone that's listening. But getting back on track again, Ortiz, Beltran. Heated debate. Let's continue on with a great show. So the Red Sox and the Tigers tonight. Ortiz did hit that grand slam in the bottom of the 8th inning, I believe it was, to tie the game at 5. Through the first 5 innings, this team was being completely, there being no hit again. So,
again, 1 hit through the first 14 innings of the ALCS.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And they come back to win 6-5 after Salslamacchio comes through. So, who wins the series?
See, as much as I hate to say it, my issue is with the way the Boston team is played, this was their first hits in this series, and they barely came back. If Ortiz doesn't hit, even if Ortiz just hits like a single there's a really strong chance they do not get 4 runs on it. Especially with the way Ortiz runs. It takes a while to get him around. But here's the deal with this. They split the games at Fenway, which is key. And now you have to look at the pitching ahead. And I think that the Detroit's rotation it's really hard to say that Detroit's rotation is not the best in at least the American League.
Thank you.
Detroit and the Dodgers, that's a conversation for another day. But if you just look at these teams comparatively, Detroit's staff, their pitching staff is going to have the ability to shut down this team once it really needs to. I mean, Verlander, Scherzer, it's too good of a combo with even just those two. Plus Sanchez is really strong. I don't see Detroit not winning this series, and probably I would say 6 is the right number for this series.
I completely agree with Detroit in 6. I mean, Anibal Sanchez went on the mound and won Game 1. Scherzer was great tonight. His bullpen just blew it. I don't see how Detroit loses this series. I'm sorry. I like this team too much, so I'm taking the Tigers in 6 as well. And now we move on to the NL. Between the Dodgers and the Cardinals, they've certainly made this an interesting series, to say the least. The Cardinals, however, do lead 2-0 in that series. So, let's talk about Game 1 first. We had a lengthy discussion about the possibility of instant replay last week, and the case just gets stronger and stronger. If you were watching the 13-inning marathon, in the top of the 10th inning, the game was tied at 2. Mark Ellis ran to try and be safe at home and would be the potential go-ahead and would have won the game. He was tagged out. It was a great throw by Carlos Beltran. Just throwing that out there. It was a great play, but as Ellis slid into home plate, there was a lot of contact. It looked like he was up by a mile. Yadier Molina was the catcher. A lot of contact. He was ruled out. There was no really original question. Ellis got up, didn't even argue with the umpire. How'd you look at the replay? Molina never tagged Ellis. Ellis should have scored on the sacrifice fly. The Dodgers would have won 3-2 in 10 innings, and we would be looking at an extremely different series right now. But because of that call, and again, I can't be upset with the umpires, because when anybody saw that originally, there's just no way you can call him safe. On that, was Ellis safe? I mean, it appeared that it could have gone either way. Carl, did you think he was safe on that play? Did you see it? Hello, Carl? My Skype has been a little bit weird, so hopefully we can get that fixed up. But as we wait for it, we're going to try and continue on. Well, you know what I think. I look at the replay, and I do think that Ellis was safe. I think that Ellis did get to home plate in time. So as we wait to get Carl back, we just want to give you, how about a lineup for the rest of the night. After we finish with the MLB, we're going to have some new topics, actually. It's about all of sports, and it's one of my favorite topics. As you can hear, I am logging onto Skype now. And then we're going to have our first ever college football brand new segment. So now let's get Carl Mogline back on the line. Carl, can you hear me?
I am back.
You are back. Good. So, nope. Okay. Skype hates me. I could call him on the phone, but that's so old-fashioned. No. Oh, okay. How about this? We're gonna do what any good live television or radio show does. Oh, no, there's no need for a commercial. Carl, are you back?
I am talking to you now.
Okay. So I'm assuming that means you're back. Unless I'm hearing
No,
anything.
I'm actually. This is a recorded voice message system. Please leave your message after the beep.
Oh,
Sorry.
good. You're alright. Beep. Here's the message I want you to give to me. Was Mark Ellis safe at the end of in the top of the 10th inning in Game 1?
I believe, as you said, when you look at the replay, it's very hard to say that Molina tagged him. And yeah, to the naked eye, I had no issue with the play. I thought he was easily out. But when you look at the replay, there's some issues there. And I've got to say, my favorite thing is when you look at replay, you just got to say, it's not saying the umpires make mistakes. It's saying this is a fast game. And sometimes you got to slow it down to see what is right. I was talking to another person who is part of the sports broadcasting camp family, Noah Friedman, about this when MLB officially announced they are having replay. And he said that, he didn't want it because it kills the game. It wasn't originally there. I'm going to tell you that is so wrong for a couple key reasons. First of all, I brought up the NFL, and he's like, but it's there already. It wasn't always there. There was a time when the NFL didn't have it. But could you imagine on Sunday, if your favorite team lost a game because of a play that could have been reviewed, you would hate it. Same thing is happening in baseball.
Week 3, 2012 season, Monday Night Football, final score, Seahawks 14, Packers 12. I can't imagine. It is all too real for me, Carl. And it's a very sensitive topic for me. We talked about this last week. I really wasn't a rant, but I have to do it again because, I thought nobody really thought that. It's the same point I made to Noah last week. Just because it was there at the beginning, that was the technology they had available at the time. These are clearly the same people that want to go around on horse and carriage instead of driving cars. These are the same people that still want chariot racing in the Olympics. We have
These are the people who want you to be, going to football. Let's go. Leather helmets? Definitely.
Because that's what was their first. Listen, this is the technology they had available. This is what we have now. Forget human error. Forget about purity. Stop it. There is a reason more people watch football. Because there's this old, archaic thinking with baseball, where this old style still rules there, and there's a reason why football and basketball attracts young people more. Part of it's because of how slow it is, but there's nothing really you can do to change about that.
Good note with that.
But you know what? If you're gonna have a game, should you not be doing? You have a responsibility to do everything you can to make sure that your rules are being followed, and it is a disservice to anybody who is playing, watching, coaching, anybody who is involved with that sport, if you are not doing everything that you can to uphold those rules.
Yeah, I have to agree. Also, I do want to bring up something on the popularity thing. Did you know that the NHL had a higher attendance percentage last year than the NBA?
That That wouldn't surprise me, because that's the only really major sport they have in Canada. I think so.
No, it's not just Canada either. It's showing in the U.S.
Well, yeah, because again, Columbus, there's not much else going on out there in Columbus.
And the Blue Jackets were really surprising last year. I will remind you to go In the Crease with Carl Mogline on Facebook and watch that show, and it'll probably be Tuesday. So it's often Tuesday. But go to the Facebook page and check it out, because I post when the shows are going to be.
Yeah.
And random other things. Also, best new nickname in sports, Teenage Mutant Ninja Hurdle. Tomas Hurdle.
Oh, Hurdle. He's on the San Jose Sharks, right?
Yep, scored 4 goals.
I'm getting better, guys. I'm getting better.
Yep, scored 4 goals. His fourth against the New York Rangers. His fourth goal was absolutely redonkulous because he went through the legs, top shelf against a very good goalie, Henrik. It was after Henrik Lundqvist had already been pulled because of Tomas Hurdle.
All right, so let's move back into baseball because this is not the Winter Classic. Although I would love to go to a Kings Ducks game at Dodger Stadium. That would be so much fun.
You know that's happening this year, right?
I know. That's why I mentioned it.
Are you going?
No, at least not that I'm concerned, but I am going to make sure. You know what? I'm gonna take it slow. I'm already going to the game on Monday and Wednesday. If anyone's gonna be there, that'd be really cool. Wear your blue. Go Dodgers. It's gonna be hot, actually. But we're not weather forecasters. We're sportscasters. So Don Mattingly's been under fire for some questionable decisions that he's been making. My question for you is this: in Game 2, Clayton Kershaw was on the mound. He was throwing a 2-hitter through 6 innings at just 72 pitches. He was pinch hit for with a runner on first and 2 outs in the top of the 7th. The score was 1-0. There was a runner on first, 2 gone. He was pinch hit for by Michael Young. Now keep in mind, in Game 1, D. Gordon pinch ran for Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez ended up not even getting a chance to bat for the rest of the game when it really would have been helpful had he been in. And he does this again. Nick Punto got to second and to third by not 1 but 2 wild pitches. Young was still not able to get him home, and Kershaw wasn't able to pitch. I mean, the bullpen was able to hold on to make it a 1-0 game. But still...
Also,
now, in hindsight, keep in mind, it possibly might have been a good decision because they might be able to use Kershaw on short rest. But, in the moment, what do you think of this decision?
First of all, you want to know what I think of this decision? I want to bring you back to, I believe, was it opening day this year when Kershaw hit a homer?
Hold on. He had 10 RBIs at this point, and he was one of 5 Dodgers to have gotten a hit already that day.
Kershaw's not a bad hitter, especially for a pitcher. I don't think it's worth taking him out, especially after 6 innings, 72 pitches. He was at a pitch count where he may have had a complete game in him. I think this is the point where you gotta leave him in, especially because Kershaw might have drove him in. Kershaw, he's a very good pitcher, especially a very good hitter for a pitcher. See, in my opinion, there's no choice but to leave.
I was screaming at the TV when Mattingly took him out. Me and my dad were irate. We couldn't believe it. Mattingly's gotta wake up. The decisions he is making are not smart. And so maybe it might be better in the long run, but at that point, you know what? I bet I would rather have Kershaw than Michael Young at the plate at that point, the way Young has been hitting and the way Kershaw's been hitting. Didn't like the decision at all. So, in case you weren't aware of how I felt about that.
Well, I wasn't, so thank you for letting me be aware of all your thoughts about Clayton Kershaw, Michael Young, and their hitting abilities.
Yeah. So, who wins the series? Cardinals are up 2-0 right now. At the beginning, I did pick the Dodgers to win this series in 6. What do you think?
I think you're kind of I hate to say this, but it's so hard to pick against a team, especially after they're at this point. Here's what it's going to come down to. Game 3, we have a rookie pitcher in Ryu. He's Korean, correct?
He's South Korean and very chubby.
Yes. But, so he has had some experience, and he's not, a 19-year-old or anything. But he is a rookie, and it's a very pressured start. So, if Ryu handles this like he's handled all his starts up to this point, basically, the Dodgers still can win the series in 7. If Ryu is at all bad, they're done.
Here's my thoughts.
Ryu has to be over first.
The Cardinals are too clutch in the playoffs. The Dodgers would not win a Game 7 in St. Louis. We wouldn't. I said that from the beginning, and I stand by that. If the Dodgers lose one of the next 4 games, they are done. Because we will not win a Game 7 in St. Louis. So here's your rotation for the Dodgers. You got Chubbs. You got the hometown hero. And then, I need a good nickname for Greinke. I'll think of one. I'm sure there are good nicknames out there for Zach Greinke. We'll get one.
I'm sure there are. I'll look them up later.
And then it's Kershaw Shank Redemption. So.
All right. Actually, I want to bring up something with Kershaw. Kershaw, this year, had a very impressive 182 batting average. But in 2011, he had 225. Clayton Kershaw hit 225. That year, and even this year, he had a positive WAR in batting. I gotta say, that's semi-impressive. For a pitcher to have a positive WAR in batting. That's gotta be, noticed at least.
Yeah.
He scored 8 runs this year. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think what's going to happen to the Dodgers is that they will lose Game 4. They will win Games 3 and 5. And then they will...
Lose 6.
I think that, considering Kershaw will be pitching in Game 6, they will be able to stay alive, perhaps. So I'm going to say St. Louis in 7 or 6. I don't see the Dodgers losing 2 of 3 at home. But there you go. So, we both agree here, St. Louis and Detroit face off in the World Series. Quickly, just the team you think, and in how many games, who wins?
Alright, so first off, I want to say these may be the teams I hate the most in the world. So this is a very hard series for me.
What about the Yankees?
See, the Yankees are up there too. These are like the Yankees with these two teams, and there's a couple teams I really don't like. These are two of the teams. These are the two teams in the postseason I hated the most. Deal? Better? The two teams in this postseason I hated the most. Let's just say, if these two teams meet, it will be it will be a very boring series because the pitchers on these teams are deep and really good. So it'll be a pretty boring, long pitching duel series. Second, the Tigers win it because I think that their other pitchers match up well, but I think that Verlander is better than Wainwright, and that's what it comes down
to. No. Just because you can't pick that one guy who plays once every 4 or 5 games is better than another guy on the other team that plays once. No. It's got to be somebody who shows up. Who shows up to work every day? The batting lineup. You want to talk about clutch? You want to talk for somebody who says that they know all about clutch. You are really not showing that in your pick. St. Louis is 8-1 in elimination games in the past 2 seasons. 8-1.
Yes.
That's incredible how they play when their backs are against the wall. I refuse to pick against St. Louis at this point in the playoffs. It would be a disrespect and a slap in the face to the history books of baseball to pick against St. Louis should they make it to the World Series. We are going to come up with, we're in the home stretch right now. It's 11:05 at night. We're going to have one more commercial, and then we're going to talk about our last interesting topic, and then we will have to save our brand new segment, Are They For Real, for later in the week. It is a college football topic. I decide that I'm going to save that for Carl, because Carl does do his college football show, and I'm on it. So, I can tell you this, though. These are the 5 teams that I will demand to talk about on his show. And because I have so much time this week, hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more shows this week. Are They For Real will consist of UCLA, Missouri, Louisville, Baylor, and Fresno State. 2 more interesting topics coming up, and then, of course, awards. It's late. We're in the home stretch. You're like the St. Louis Cardinals. You made it this far. Don't stop now. We will be right back with more of Rookies Roundup, our 13th episode. You don't want to miss coming next. It might just be our best topic yet. And it's a long commercial, so this time you have time to like our Facebook page, Rookies Roundup, or to call in 310-922-9536. Alright? Good. Commercial. Now, stay right there.
Hi, this is Sam Rosen, and I'm here with Sam's Situation.
Good afternoon and welcome into the corner. It's Chris's Corner here on Spreaker.com, a national sports affiliate. Hello and welcome to the Cameron Sadeghi Show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Deep Sports Talk League. This is affiliated with National Sports.
Cameron Sadeghi, Chris Sylvester, Sam Rosen, Andrew Goldstein, Daniel Levy, and the entire broadcast crew with Commissioner Robert Dieters. You are live from National Sports Radio Station in Los Angeles, California.
And
Live from Los Angeles, we thank you for listening to another...
sorry about that. We are back. Welcome back to Rookies Roundup. We are in the home stretch in our 75th minute of the show, so we are going to have to wrap up soon. We get some interesting topics, though, before we go. Carl, are you there?
I am there.
I'm glad you're there.
I am also square, but that's not the point.
Alright. If you could only watch sports for 2 months of the whole year, which 2 months would you pick?
Alright, the first month I'm going to pick.
And wait, and you have to do them in order. So give me your number 2 month, and then your number 1 month. So what's your number 2?
Wait. Can I say, are we assuming that this is a non-Olympic year?
Yes, we are. We can assume it's non-Olympic.
It's non-Olympic, non-World Cup, No,
forget about it. No. Considering that happens once every 4 years. So for the rest of your life, that's when you don't get to watch sports.
So it's like okay. Oh, that makes it even harder. Jeez. And sports are still happening. But I don't get to watch them. Alright. I have to go in order? Oh, jeez. I need to figure out what my number 2 month is.
If you could only watch these 2 months.
I know, okay. The month I would watch... Alright, I would watch June.
Number 2.
Because,
June.
You want to know why I would pick June? NBA playoffs, NHL players are both in June. So you got 2 playoffs up in June.
Okay. And you're in the middle of the MLB season. My number 2 is going to have to be October. You get your MLB playoffs, NHL starts, NBA starts late in the month. You get your NFL. You've got soccer qualifyings going on right about now. This is one of the rare times where this is one of the only months of the year when all 4 big 4 sports are going on. Oh, and you get college football. So October is my number 2. Carl, what's your number 1?
See, can I push June number 1? See, I love the NHL playoffs so much. I almost I wish they were number 1. But just in the sake of fairness, all sport, I have to go. No, I have to go. October's my number 1. October's my number 1 because as you said, all 4 sports are playing. And if this is the only month you can watch, why would you not want to be able to watch all the sports? You gotta realize the situation. What is your number 1, Jake?
My number 1 is March. You want me to give away March Madness? Absolutely not. March Madness is without a doubt the best sporting event of the year. It is the month you look forward to. You gotta love March, and you gotta love sports in March. There's nothing like college basketball. And NBA heads into the home stretch. NHL heads into the home stretch. Draft preparations for the NFL. Nothing much really with college football. But still, it remains interesting. So, March would have to be your number 1. Now, 2 months that you would have to throw away, though.
The months I would throw away.
So, your second least favorite month.
These are not least favorite months because I have certain aspects.
Right.
If I go into this. Alright. I think I have to throw out the month of July. Because all it is middle of the MLB season. There's not a lot of things coming up. Preseason football hasn't come up yet. So I have to kick out July.
Okay, my number 2 would have to be August. It's the dog days of August, preseason for the NFL starting, and you just have MLB. Alright, what is the number 1 sports month that you throw away?
The number 1 sports month that I would throw away is... See, can I just say July again?
No, you can't. You gotta get rid of 2.
Alright, if I have to get rid of 2, then I have to get rid
You see,
of...
I played my cards right. There's a reason August is my number 2, because July's my number 1, for all the reasons you just mentioned. Because that way I get rid of just 2 months.
I'm sorry. I always say the one that comes first to my head. This is why we have to go over the question. July is my number 1. Stop. I don't care. August is my number 2. Those months of summer, go do something. Go to the pool or something. I mean, come on.
No, don't be condescending. There are still people out there who love baseball and don't want it to change, and think that instant replay is one of the new fandangled machinery and whatnot. Now, our other question. Right now, last topic, and you get 1 place. Best place for sports and worst place for sports.
Are we talking cities or stadiums?
We're talking about cities or states or just locations right now. I can make it very easy for me.
Do you want me to throw in an upset, or should I just go classic on this?
Do what you want, but right now. I can tell you right now.
Worst place to watch a sporting event.
No, not to watch. The worst place for sports right now. Who's having the worst sports time?
City for sports.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I have to go with Cleveland. Even though they're not doing terrible right now, it's still... I don't care what you mean. Even if they're on the rise, it's still Cleveland, so they lose points.
Right now, I'm going to pick Atlanta. Let's run down.
Also, Jacksonville's high on that.
No, Atlanta. Because Atlanta...
Right. And
the Braves... No, wait, no. Hold on, wait. Atlanta, Braves eliminated. Falcons lost at home, back-to-back, including against the Jets on Monday Night Football. Their WNBA team, first they get upstaged by Disney on Ice and don't get to play on their home court, and then they get swept in the WNBA Finals, and the Georgia Bulldogs lost. So bad times all around.
My number 1, because I know it's your number 1 too, and it should be the number 1.
If you would know, if you want. What?
The state of Missouri is the best state for sports right now.
Missouri, for sure. And I went through all these reasons on the Facebook page. If you didn't see it yet, well, you have a head start if you did see it. Missouri right now, firing on all cylinders. In football, you have first in college football, number 25 Missouri defeated number 7 Georgia in Georgia. For baseball, you got the St. Louis Cardinals, who are in the NLCS, and up to in hockey, St. Louis Blues are 4-0 to start the season. In football, the Kansas City Chiefs are 6-0, and the Rams are coming off an upset. Soccer, they hosted a prelim in which USA beat Jamaica and clinched a berth in the World Cup. And then the Kansas City Royals are kind of just...
That clinched them top spot in CONCACAF. They had already clinched the World Cup spot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I also do soccer.
Oh.
And if you think I should do a soccer show, go to Rookie's Roundup. Comment on his page that Carl should do a soccer show. Please, if somebody does that, I will do a soccer show just for you. You can list me topics. I will talk about every single soccer topic you want to. Just go to Rookie Roundup and post, Carl should do a soccer show.
Knowing you would probably do that all night.
I actually know a lot about soccer. Like, I know that the Portland Timbers had a huge win tonight over the Seattle Sounders.
Okay,
their biggest rival.
MLS doesn't count as a sport. You know what? That's it. If we start, we start talking about MLS, we know it's getting late. So before we go with our awards, Carl, I'm gonna have to lead you out. I'm gonna have to say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. Any last words?
My last words are: follow me on Twitter at Carl_PM. Yeah, I'm going to give you another reason to follow me on Twitter. That Braylon Addison, the Ducks receiver, who had the big game against Washington, retweeted one of my tweets because he cares about me so much. Just say, you should go follow me on Twitter. It's a good place to find me. I text weird things, including random things about my history homework. That's about it. Go. Here we go in a very quick order. Go. Ducks. Sharks. Vikings. Twins. Trailblazers. VCU. Go UCLA Bruins. Go Navy Midshipmen. Go Portland Timbers. Go Cardiff City. That is all I have to say.
All right. Thank you so much
Goodbye.
for being here, Carl. See you. All right. That was Carl Mugline. Pretty cool of him. Late night. He was here. All right. Rookies Roundup of Tradition for our 13th episode. We got to keep the good times rolling with our awards. And we have a first tonight. We get 2 people that get a sympathy award because I just could not decide. Our MVP, I don't know if we've given him one before, but even if we have, he deserves another one. Joseph Fourier, undrafted out of UCLA, caught 3 touchdown passes today, and he is the best touchdown. He has the best touchdown dances than anybody in the NFL. Check out just look up Joseph Fourier touchdown dances. They're all fantastic. So, Joseph Fourier's fancy feet, good for him. He is MVP. Facepalm has to go to Michael Beasley. Beasley hasn't had the greatest couple of years, and it didn't really get better. In the preseason, he punched himself in the head, and now needs medical attention, and is injured. He punched himself during the game. He returned to the Miami Heat after being number 2 overall pick in 2008. I mean, just a downward spiral for him. Punched himself in the head and needed treatment after the game. The Heat's trainer applied steel compresses, the same things cut doctors use on battered boxers, to Beasley's head after the game. Don't punch yourself in the head, and don't punch other people in the head. It's a bad idea. And now, sympathy. It came down to 2. One just pulled at my heartstrings, but one was really funny. So, we're going to go with both. First, Iowa State. You guys, I'm so sorry, because you guys get robbed at everything and lose close games and everything. I mean, you got that close to beating Kansas twice in basketball, and then this year, you lose to Oklahoma. You lose to Texas, get robbed for the 2nd year in a row. The year before it was Oklahoma State. Now you get robbed against Texas, because for some reason, they said the player was down, and there was no fumble. It was just horrible, so I'm sorry for that. And this week against Texas Tech, when I picked you guys, that was a great game, by the way. It was 42-35. A minute 30 to go. They go with an onside kick. It's a perfect fake. You've got one guy coming in and faking the onside kick, another guy that actually does it. It's perfectly in the air. One of the guys leaps up, grabs it, and he dropped it in midair. Texas Tech would go on to win, so I feel bad for you guys. And then our other sympathy vote has to go to the Toronto Raptors mascot. Believe it or not, during a visit to a school, the Toronto Raptors mascot tore its Achilles and is out for the season, or at least the person that was in the costume, obviously. Duh. His name, by the way, is the Raptor. So, and the Raptor, the mascot's name. So, yes, there's actually video of it online. Check it out. On Yahoo Sports, it's here's how the Toronto Raptors mascot tore his Achilles tendon. His inhale facts. This is really, really sad. And they had a hilarious article about it on Grantland by Zach Lowe on ESPN.com. Fantastic. The Toronto Raptor always finds a way into the spotlight and sadly has torn his Achilles tendon. Hopefully the Raptor gets better. And hopefully Iowa State starts winning some games. Hopefully the Dodgers start winning some games. That is it. Again, Grandpa, keep on fighting. No, you're not feeling too good, but our thoughts and prayers are with you again, as well to Adrian Peterson. Anyone who's hurt not there, hopefully this show just makes your day a little bit better. That's really the whole point of it. It's not just an outlet for me. It's just when other people can enjoy it. That's what's most important. So thank you, everybody, for listening in. I will be at the Dodger game on Monday. Hopefully I'll be back on Wednesday. Bruins number 9 in the country. We play Stanford. Hopefully I'll be able to do another show this week. Packers won. That's awesome. If you want to hear my football roundup, football recap, check out the most recent episode of LA to Chicago, the Blake and Noah Show. It's great. Everything on National Sports is great. Like our Facebook page. If you have anything, you can text me during the week. Seriously, I'm that open. 310-922-9536. Thank you for making us a very highly listened to show. Hopefully we can get over 1,200. And yeah, that is about it for you guys. So, thank you for listening in. Don't forget to listen next week. Like us on Facebook. Like National Sports. Follow Carl on Twitter. Carl is spelled with a C. And yeah, and you're awesome if you listened live. And you're awesome even if you didn't listen live. Oh, if you want to find out the timetable for this show, if you want to fast forward to certain times, don't forget to like our Facebook page, because that's where they will be. Incentives are pretty cool. Go Bruins, go Packers, go Dodgers, Thick Blue, saying good night at 11:23 p.m. in LA. I am Jake Leiker, saying see you soon.
Another presentation of the National Sports Radio Station on Spreaker.com.